Now, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know that one of my all-time favorite games is Scythe. It is in my top 10, and it took a long time to get there, but when it finally got there, it moved up fast, okay? And that's by Stonemaier Games, like you didn't know if you know anything about this. But as also a father, I'm always on the lookout. I have two little beautiful baby girls, Graysana and Naomi, and I'm always on the lookout for games that I can sit down and enjoy with them, that we can actually play together as a family. You know, my wife sometimes jumps in with us and we play, but I'm always on the lookout for those. And I've had some good ones come across my desk, but 9 times out of 10, not always, but 9 times out of 10, they're games that I'm not always enjoying. Like, I wouldn't necessarily sit down anytime to play and really get excited about doing it. The only reason I'm excited is because I'm spending time with my kids. The game is just a contributor. It's a general factor to that, right? But what I have heard about My Little Scythe changes that paradigm. I've actually heard that parents and children alike kind of like it equally in many regards. And I love what I've heard the story about how this game got created. Does this game actually change that paradigm for me? Well, why don't you come on over and take a look. I love what I heard about how this game was designed. I love the fact that a father wanted to play Scythe with his daughter. And I'm going to butcher these names, forgive me. But Hobie Chow with his daughter, Vienna Chu or Chow. Like I said, I probably butchered it. I love the fact that this father wanted to play Scythe with his daughter, so he presented this his style of game for that, this kid's version of Scythe, because he loves Scythe so much, that he presented that to Jamie Stegmaier, and they talked it over and got it published. And what we did is we actually had my buddy Brian, who y'all know on the channel, he had his 2 daughters join us in a game because, oh man, I'm forgetting their ages right now. I think one of them's 9.5, the other one's 10.5 or 11.5. And they decided to join us in our game because my daughters are both 4 and 6. You know, they're going to be 5 and 7 this year. And my 6-year-old can kind of get some of the concepts. She's getting a little bit of it, but she doesn't quite grasp everything yet. This game says for 8 and up, I believe, somewhere on the box. Yeah, it's for 8 and up. So she's very close to grasping the concept. Very smart kids. So we went ahead and played with a little bit of the older age group, more in this age bracket, right? And I wanted to get their thoughts on it. So we went ahead and got Addison and Kylie's thoughts on how they like the game, and a little bit of why and things like that. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of my final thoughts on it, what I thought of it overall as a kid's game, and did we as adults play it? Because me and Brian both, played with them. So anyway, let's go ahead. I'm going to give you, just like I said, a general brief, very ever so brief overview, and then we'll get into what we all thought about it. Now, if you are familiar with Scythe, then some of this is going to be a little bit second nature to you. They did distill this game down into more of a simplified, basic format, but there are still some interesting decisions to be made here. Now, let me go ahead and tell you, if on your player board, you've got move, seek, and make, and you know you've got your normal, you got your pawn, just like in a regular game of Scythe, where you're able to move your action token, your pawn, to the area that you're going to take actions on. But in this case, you're not taking a high and a low action. You're basically taking a simplified version of that. Like for example, with move, you go ahead and just take a move action, and you're going to have 2 little characters called seekers. These are your primary, people that are going out, and you take them out from your base camp onto the board, and you're moving them around the board, and hopefully going to be gaining resources. You're going to be completing quests just like you would in Scythe. The encounter cards are the quest cards in this game. You'll have pie fights with each other, and yes, instead of a power meter, you have a pie meter, and that determines how many pies you throw in a fight. Also, you've got magic cards. The magic cards are just like your power cards that you would get in a normal game of Scythe, and you get to play those within a normal fight, a pie fight. If you or another character joins up on a space, you can go ahead and engage in a pie fight, just like you would in a normal game of Scythe, a battle. And again, just like in Scythe, where you're trying to gain stars, you're trying to gain trophies. You're trying to put them onto different objectives that are located on the board, whether that's, battling somebody in a pie fight, however many quests you can complete, and things of that nature. There's so many different little objectives that you could complete. There's also portals all over the board that are just like the tunnels in Scythe. You can go from one place to another. And there's a little bit of pick up and deliver in this game, where in the middle of the board, there's a little kingdom that you can actually take resources to. And if you take those resources to that kingdom, you're able to gain a trophy. Right? And it could be apples, it could be gems. But like I said, the first person to gain those 4 trophies is the winner of the game. And granted, there is one more round before you end the game out, but basically whoever's got the most points in that regard wins. And there are tiebreakers and this, that, and the other. Now, I found a few things that were very interesting about this game. One thing in particular was how the player board was laid out. Okay, yeah, you don't have the top and bottom row actions that you normally take, but you use your pawn and you choose the action, and one of them could be moved like we talked about. But one of them in particular is called Seek. And in this regard, this is where I found this particular action to be quite fascinating. Is you're going to take a set of dice and you get a couple different seeking options to choose from. You can choose, red dice with a blue and a yellow, or blue dice with one red and a yellow. And on each die, there's going to be different things represented that are resources. For example, you could have, on a blue die, you could get a white diamond or a green diamond or a purple diamond, okay? And what are they're rubies, basically, or gems. And what that basically represents is if that falls like a green gem, then you're going to go ahead and place those gems or that gem, that resource, out in the green area of the board, okay? If it had fallen on a yellow, you'd put them in the desert, the yellow area of the board. Same thing goes for the apples. If you have a white apple come up, then you're gonna go ahead and put an apple in the white or the snowy area of the board. And then you have the yellow die, which will allow you to put quests on the board somewhere. So it's an interesting system to how you would normally play Scythe, right? This actually generates resources in a very fun way on the board, and it's really interesting because you can generate them where you want in a specific given area, and at the same time, you could also end up giving a resource to another character, which would increase your friendship meter, which would normally be your heart meter, your popularity in Scythe. And so again, you want to get that as high as you possibly can because you can earn a trophy on it. But I like the idea that you can give things to other players to increase that friendship. And I found that fascinating, actually, especially for a kids game, because it also teaches the idea of friendship and sharing and things like that, what you want your kids to know. Another action on that player board is the make action. And then you can actually go and spend those resources that you have to get things that you need. For example, if you need more pie power on your pie meter, you can spend 2 apples and gain more power. You can draw another magic card by paying in 2 gemstones, so you'll have more pie power again in a pie fight. Or, one of my personal favorites, you can upgrade your player board with different upgrades for movement and for the actual make action, which can actually give you discounts on making or give you more power in different kinds of ways for moving. And the cool thing is, no 2 players are typically going to have the same things. There's all sorts of different kinds of powers and upgrades in the game that can make you different from another player, just like you would be in Scythe. I found that absolutely fascinating. It kept me engaged. So I'll just go ahead and say my personal thoughts on it. I found the game fascinating for a kid's game. I did not know how much I was going to like this going in. I was kind of thinking I probably would. I like Scythe, so I said, okay. But, again, the theme itself isn't something I'm immediately drawn to, right? Except for the Scythe brand name on it. And so when it came to actually playing the game, I have to say I found myself enjoying myself. And I found myself at times sitting there going, oh, man, I got to be careful because, Kylie over here got mad at me or wanted to fight me with pies, and if I stay in this area, she's going to have quick access to me if she goes through a portal and comes to where I'm at. So let me move so she doesn't have as easy access, because we got into a couple of fights in the game. And it was a lot of fun. It was generally good, clean, family-friendly fun, and it really made Scythe more of a family-friendly style game. Now, again, it's probably almost a tiny bit next stepper for kids, but if you're looking for something that's going to be easy for, you know, your older kids, like I said, 7, 8, 9 years old, to get into and actually have fun playing with you, I highly recommend it. But don't just go off of what I say. Let's take a look at what the kids have to say as well. All right, Kylie, what did you like about My Little Scythe? What did you think of it?
I thought it was great, and I really liked having these two as my characters. I named them Mr. Fox-a-Lot and Sir Fox-a-Lot.
Yeah?
Both Sir Fox-a-Lot.
Did you understand the game okay?
Mm-hmm.
Did it take you a little while to learn it, or did you learn it pretty quickly?
I learned it pretty quickly.
Okay, great. All right. And did you like how the actions worked?
Yeah.
Good. Addison, what did you think of the game, My Little Scythe?
I liked it.
Yeah? Why did you like it? Is there anything in particular that you liked?
This and getting all the stuff you need to give it to wherever it was.
The resources?
Yeah.
To the castle.
Oh, so you like the pick up and deliver aspect to go to the castle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Did you like the pie fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah? Was that fun?
I didn't do any.
Yeah, but did you like seeing other people get in the fights?
Yeah.
I know. I think Kylie was having fun coming after me in the game with her pie fighting.
Yeah. I really wanted to move this one to there so me and you can have a pie fight.
Have another pie fight?
Yeah, but you didn't.
But you know what? I beat you in that pie fight. Ah! Hey, okay, so Brian, what'd you think of it, man, overall?
Overall, pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty simple, pretty easy to learn.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
As a parent, being able to play with your kids.
Because Scythe is my #1, and this is
These are all
my #1 for kids,
Really?
I guess.
Yeah. Well, they picked it up pretty quickly, so that's good.
Pretty simple, pretty easy.
All right, cool. Well, I hope this review does help you if you're looking for something to play with your kids and something that you yourself can get somewhat engaged in. Like I said, I just don't see you getting bored with this as an adult. I had fun with it. Now, I will say it's not a game I'm going to be reaching for all the time to play with my buddies, right? Just not. I have Scythe for that. But when it comes to my children, like I said, who are one day are going to be able to grasp this concept within the next year or couple of years from now, I'm going to have something I can play with them and really enjoy myself and stay engaged and feel competitive, and at the same time don't feel like I'm going to be destroying them in a game because I might be better at it, because I think they're going to be able to be competitive as well, but it's friendly competition, and I'm really excited about having this on my shelf. Anyway, My Little Scythe, highly recommended, especially if you're a parent, you love your kids, you want to spend more time with your kids, and you want to engage with your kids on almost a level playing field. That's the thing I think I'm looking for in this. I highly recommend this game. Definitely check it out. My Little Scythe by Stonemaier Games. Thank you so much for watching the Dice Odyssey videos. You have a blessed day, and game away. This video is brought to you by Fallen Dominion Studios. Check out their website at fallendominionstudios.com.